I've been doing therapy for a few decades, probably like 30 years on and off with about like 10 therapists. And I just was never getting the result that I wanted. The ketamine therapy, first of all, is a game changer. First, it just helped me to like accept what was happening, be able to talk about what I was feeling without those like filters, without like the conscious filters. And then when I started weaning off of the antidepressant, we realized that when I would do a ketamine session within like 2 weeks of the drop down, it did have a positive effect on like the negative withdrawal symptoms that I was experiencing through the drop down. The deepest benefit for me for ketamine assisted psychotherapy was finding those things that I had kind of written off as not problematic in my life. It opened the window into these issues that I knew were there, but was struggling to accept. It gave me the space to accept them, which then led to the ability to work through them. Was like the biggest thing for me with the ketamine therapy. It's a game changer. I mean, it truly is like a game changer in the therapy world, in my opinion. The other thing it really helped with is like a lot of the traumatic wounds and like the like core wounds and traumatic imprints were so young in my life that it bringing you into that different plane of like consciousness made it very clear. But it gave me the space and like the allowance to grieve, which was a big part of my process. And that was also a big game changer as well. So the oxytocin, when we combined it with the ketamine, I felt like it gave me the ability to deal with the really hard, difficult stuff from a place of like love. It helped remove a lot of like the judgments that I had around what I was feeling and opened up like this like second level of acceptance. So it was like the ketamine alone was opening things up. I was able to look at them, but it still had that negative slant, like negative talk. And when we added the oxytocin, it was like that piece of my brain quieted down enough to just accept what was coming up without any buts or ifs or whats around it. Number one biggest benefit was Dr. Miller really went at my pace. And would still be able to like push me a little bit out of my comfort zone. It was a very safe place to say the least.
What would you say to someone who right now um, was in your shoes when you started this process?
I would say, I mean, if you haven't done like the 10-minute call yet, like definitely do that.
What is the difference between who you are now and who you were when you first started this process? And how do you feel it relates to the process?
Oh my God, what a good question. I got tears in my eyes as you were saying that. So I would say like who I was then was somebody looking at other people to tell me who I should be and how I should act. And who I am now is somebody that looks inside herself to determine who I am, what I should do, how I should do it, and what is right for me. And that shift, it affects every part of my life. It affects how I feel physically. It affects how I feel emotionally. It affects um, how I interact in relationships, personal and professional.
Mhm.
And it really just, it's, first of all, it's amazing to get to know yourself. And really that's what this whole process, even though I didn't know it in the beginning, I didn't really realize it more towards the end, but the whole process was me learning about me. Yes. I mean, I am incredibly grateful. I kind of felt like there was nowhere else to go and this was my last chance. And like, hallelujah, it worked. Well,
So happy.
anyone that's watching this, I wish you the best. If I did it, you can do it. And Dr. Miller is definitely a great place to do it at, and Faya Health. So my pleasure, truly my pleasure.